So there was all kinds of new movie trailers that dropped last week, and there was a couple that I cared to talk about and I didn't really know how to go about it. So I just decided I'm going to put it all in one video. I'm going to go through 4 different trailers or teasers that came out in the past week. We're going to be talking a little bit about the Shrek 5 animation, the look and the controversy over there. We're going to be looking at a new film from A24 called Death of a Unicorn. Going to be looking at a Nicolas Cage film called The Surfer, and finally the trailer for the new Minecraft film. I'm going to be sharing my thoughts along the way, so stick with me. Let's first start with this teaser for Shrek 5. Now, I'm a big fan. I'm a huge fan of the Shrek franchise. I don't really think there was any of the movies that I actually hated or I actually really disliked. Even as I was getting older and they came out with Shrek 4, I was still enjoying it. I still liked the vibe. I still had a really great time. So let's watch this teaser real quick.
Hey, Magic Mirror, who's the fairest of them all? Why, Shrek, of course.
Ew, Dad!
Ooh, Mommy like.
Who's making this stuff?
Not me!
Whoa! Shrek 5, starring Mike Myers, Eddie Murphy, Cameron Diaz, and Zendaya? Oh, damn. Only in theaters, Christmas 2026.
So we have a minute before this comes out. There was so much talk about why is the style new? Like, why are they redoing the style? And I think a big part of that is just because animation's a lot better. They've taken a long hiatus and they're like, hey, let's come back swinging. But then you have the whole issue of, is there going to be backlash from this? Are people married to the original look? And DreamWorks did Shrek Forever. I believe Illumination is tied to Shrek 5. And so it could just literally be like a design. Hey, we don't want to make our animation, our films look archaic. We want to push the boundaries. We want to keep the characters looking similar and a little bit more detail, a little bit more life, I guess, more expertise. Like the light distribution in this animation is far superior to what we've seen in previous Shrek films. But it does come back to the idea of when you remix a look, is that the wrong thing to do? So like when they did the live action Sonic movies, nobody liked the way Sonic looked. And so they scrambled last minute and made Sonic look like he did in the games, make it look like he did in the cartoon version of Sonic. And it went over really well. Like everybody tended to love it and they love that they made that change. And because of that, they've been rewarded with multiple successful Sonic films. With the animation change, I don't hate it. I actually think technically it looks better. It looks more modern, what we've come to understand as good animation. However, I think once we have 4 films that are baked into a specific style and a specific look, even if it is a bit elementary for modern animation, I think we got to stick with that look. Now, this film could be awesome and the story just, takes off and we can overlook the animation thing, but personally, I think it's a wrong choice to change the animated look. But I do have a suspicion that in a very big way, this is a market test. This film's not coming out until, I think, Christmas of 2026, I believe is what it said. Christmas of 2026. So they have roughly 2 years to put the final stamp of approval on this film. And I think throwing this animation style out there is a little bit of a market test early to see, hey, how does everyone respond to this? Is it positive or negative? And then we'll make our decision from there. Like, do we want to run with a more updated animated look? Or do we want to stick with the more traditional look? And it would not surprise me in the slightest if the film actually comes out looking like the others, because I don't feel as though the market test, right, with this teaser has gone very well. Now I want to jump to a film that I actually thought was fairly interesting. The Surfer. And big part of that is just because it's Nicolas Cage. We're going to talk about the new A24 film as well as the Minecraft movie after this. But let's watch together the trailer for The Surfer.
You can't stop a wave. Born in a storm, way out to sea. Pure energy. And it's all building to this breaking point.
Uncles only!
I grew up here.
Don't live here. Don't surf here.
Hey, Dad.
It's okay. You're scaring my boy.
Now. No need for all this fuss. Listen to me, brother. I know it's smart to lose face in front of your boy, but you gotta know when to back down. Or it could get a whole lot worse.
This is a special place for us. It was magic here when I was your age. My old house is finally for sale, and I'm buying it.
Just want to go home now.
Wake up.
Locals only. Don't live here, don't surf here.
I'm not surfing. There's a view for locals only as well. Hey!
Now like engines. You gotta release a little steam now and then or you'll blow up.
That's my board, and I want it back.
Listen, mate, I think you've been out in the sun too long.
No, my father gave me that board.
I can tell you myself, that old board's been up there for as long as I can remember.
She's a beaut, isn't she?
I'm not trying to be cruel.
We don't belong here anymore.
All I want is to take my son surfing.
Don't get yourself down. Before you can have everything, you have to experience nothing.
What?
Pathetic.
That's a good one.
Goodness. I love the pastel colors, like the teals and the bluish greens and the yellows. The style of this film is very fascinating to me. He's got a lot of zingers in this trailer. My father gave me that board, you know. There's a lot of moments that just stood out to me that I really enjoyed that were very Nick Cage. And I think at one point in this trailer, it said that Nicolas Cage fans are gonna love this or something like that. Like, this feels like that extreme acting. It's very intense and a little over the top, a little cheesy, but ultimately is very enjoyable if you're a Nicolas Cage fan, which I would say I am. I wouldn't say I'm like a super fan, but I would say I am a fan of Nicolas Cage. I think his acting is very funny. And also, he's a very good actor. In fact, he's extremely good. I think he's just gotten an interesting rap in his films to be kind of like over the top with some of his facial expressions and hit certain notes in the acting choices that are a bit extreme, which kind of, there's a little bit of charm to that. So this just looks like a psychological thriller. It's just the premise of he was, as a kid, he had a house there on the beach, and he loved to surf. He did it with his dad, and he wanted to do the same thing for him and his son. All of the locals are now like, if you don't live here, you can't surf here. And so it's kind of like the territorial thing, you know, like when a surfer group finds a spot where there's only, you know, locals that know about it and they can go out and surf. It's like they're very protective of that. It's like a secret. It's kind of like that. And then throw in the idea of a psychological thriller to where he's trying to do everything he can to get himself back in the community where he can fulfill his dream with his son to surf and to be a local there once again, where he can buy his childhood home and maybe give his son some of the memories that he had with his dad. It's kind of a sweet thought, but it's interesting to kind of put this weird psychological battle setting into a story like that. So we'll see how this turns out. It's called The Surfer. It piqued my interest, and so that's why I wanted to talk about it. Another film, it's an A24 film. It's called Death of a Unicorn. Let's jump into the trailer for that right now. I believe this film has Jenna Ortega, the girl from Wednesday, and a handful of other stuff.
This entire nature preserve was donated by the Leopold. It's truly untouched by man.
Spotted any big game on the way in.
The fuck was that? Must be moose mating season or something.
Ooh.
Aren't you the most magnificent thing?
Unicorns used to be seen like these divine monsters because people fully believe that they could heal literally anything.
It's an opportunity for immortality. We have a moral imperative to harvest every last one.
They're gonna kill us.
Don't move.
Oh, very nice.
Called it. There's no negotiating with monsters.
All right. It also has Paul Rudd and some other familiar faces I failed to mention. So this film, it just seems like a very interesting take on unicorns, setting it into the universe of horror, right? Survival, kind of cheesy horror flick, and taking this idea of unicorns as these sweet, almost angelic beings in culture and saying they're real, but they're monsters. That's an interesting little twist. It's outside of the box, and I think there's a level to this that you have the right faces in this film. You have like Jenna Ortega, Paul Rudd, right? You have some recognizable faces that'll get people's interest, but then just the nature, like even this image right here, to see kind of this monster up close on Jenna Ortega's face. There's this element that I've coined from another YouTuber actually, that is called green sand in a film and in the marketing of a film. And the reason behind that is because there was a indie film that was trying to select a poster, like the art for a poster for his indie film. And it's the same with like YouTube thumbnails. You have to have something that catches people's eye and piques their interest. And so in the case of this indie filmmaker, in his film, it was kind of like a sci-fi thing. And he had this green sand, like this unearthly planet that had green sand. And so the artist that was helping him with his poster decided to say, hey, let's add the element of green sand in the poster art so that it piques people's interest. It shows them something they haven't seen before. That's like marketing 101 when it comes to filmmaking. So that's why like adding an interesting twist into your film and not telling kind of like a very vanilla story is because it allows you to implement the visual strong elements. In this case, they did it on the thumbnail for this trailer. They have this monster mouth right up against Jenna Ortega's face. So Jenna Ortega, recognizable actor who's growing in popularity, and this monster that's roaring in her face. That's a really interesting grab for audiences to want to watch. And A24 is really good at marketing. I wouldn't say necessarily that I love all the films that come out of A24, but they have a very indie spirit about them. Their marketing is very on point, unique, and something that I think a lot of indie filmmakers can glean from. Now, we're going to go the complete opposite direction of indie films, and we're going to take a look at a trailer for a very big film that Hollywood is seriously banking on. I believe it's Warner Brothers that is banking on this movie to work, and it is the Minecraft movie. So let's watch the full trailer here.
Don't worry! I'm gonna cushion our fall with this water bucket! Release!
overworld.
Wow.
Anything you can dream about, you can create.
So they built all this?
Yeah, most of it.
Hola.
That thing doesn't understand a word you're saying.
We're talking.
Life here was perfect. Until one day, flint and steel, we came across the Nether. A place with no joy or creativity at all. You, what are you making? Oh, if they get their way, this beautiful world and everything in it will wither and die.
Biocon Dios. It means goodbye, brother.
No, it doesn't.
Don't look at her. It does.
If we want to save this world, creativity is key to survival.
Now what?
Elytra wingsuits.
Bye-bye. Those things work, right?
Absolutely.
I got something for you.
I love Blue House. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
This place makes no sense. Let's do this.
They want me to fight the chicken?
Chicken jockey.
Oh no, not again. Oh my god, are you all right? Your head is huge.
Okay. What I think is funny about these types of movies is that it's nothing that I feel like everyone hasn't already said. You know, the visuals are impressive. The world expansion is ideal. It's intriguing. There's visual elements like I was talking about before with Green Sand. We're in the Minecraft universe. There you go. That's the Green Sand, and it's live action. But, you know, people like Jack Black really carry these films on their back. And the physical humor and the consistency of characters like Jack Black, his consistency is crazy. His consistency truly is nuts. I feel like once he did Nacho Libre, he found a comedic stride. And I know that was influenced by Tenacious D and everything as well, his performance persona. But he found like a comedic stride that just has carried him through his career. I mean, even when he was like putting on the wings, like he's slapped it. You know what I mean? Like he's so over dramatic. And in some ways with films like this, that's all you can do. That really is all you can do. Just put Jack Black in there. He's carried the Jumanji films. He carried the Mario Bros film. And I think he's going to carry this as well. But like at the end, you know, bringing in this woman and she plays the exact same type of person ever since she was in, I believe, Legally Blonde. She plays the same type of character. White Lotus, there's a bunch of different versions, but the same type of person. Just completely delirious, kind of silly, kind of out of it. And they just want to include all of these like data points that they find all over Hollywood with specific actors and specific IPs. And they just try to build a little tower to construct their finances around. And so they're hoping that this soup that they're stirring, right, will be enjoyed by the public, but it's a formatted process. And I think there's a level of creativity that's completely lost in projects like this. But when you're doing these, really the best thing you can do is kind of what they're doing, which is to pull in people like Jack Black, because he's gonna get, I mean, he's really, that Peaches song from Mario Bros, it slapped. It was great. It really did its job. And they're really hoping to capitalize on that narrative. Actually, I believe it was the Mario Bros becoming $1 billion film, I believe it was, that caused Hollywood to want to do a Minecraft film. I believe the first time I heard that they were going to do a Minecraft film was right after the success of the theatrical run for the Super Mario Bros. So let me know what you guys think of any of these films. I'm curious, are you excited for any of these? Do any of these have your interest? Do all of them have your interest, or do none of them have your interest? From Shrek to Monster Unicorns to Nicolas Cage to the Minecraft live action with Jack Black and Jason Momoa. Thanks so much for watching. If you want to see more videos like this, you want to see me talk about films and filmmaking, just subscribe to the channel and like this video. I'll see you next time.